Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk on this glorious Thursday afternoon, the 5th of October. I am Cody. This is Andy. We're the Tech Talk crew. Andy, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well.
Glorious Thursday afternoon. Glorious.
It's glorious. It's awesome. It's a little rainy outside, but it's all right. You can't control everything in life, right?
No, you cannot. You're very stoic today. Glorious. You can't control everything in life. You know, it's just like you're just, I don't know. You got it like
glass half full kind of guy.
That glass, it's half full. I mean, you only have like one glass, though, right? You've got like two spoons, one glass, one bowl. Exactly. It's a bowl half full, but like you only get one. Did you get a cat yet, by the way? What's going on with that?
Nope, no animals.
Nope. What about like a bird or something like
that?
No
McDonald's farm over here.
You could be that for Halloween, though.
There you go.
It'd be fun. Halloween's right around the corner, though.
We got a pretty full docket today. We got 4 charts. First one, Dec Corn action.
Like nice intro. Speaking of farming, here we go. All right, Farmer Bill. What do you think here? All caps. Exclamation point.
Corn. 2 exclamation points.
Go.
First time we've settled over the 50-day moving average in months.
Wow. Look at you, Richard.
And if I'm not mistaken, you still have circled because you haven't touched this chart since we talked about it last time, right?
Not touched at all. 0. What's that guy right there? Is that
There's
the one?
A little gap. Yeah, there it is. There's a little gap. People are going to make fun of us. There's a gap at 525 in Dec Corn, everybody.
Uh-oh.
Which, I mean, we have a little bit of ways to go. Where did we settle out here today?
Just shy of $5.
Yeah, 497.5.
I mean, you make a great point. You settled over not 1 but 2 moving averages. One you haven't settled over in some time since. By the way, last time we settled over that, what did we do? Or I guess settled below it. Promptly made a gap. But we made that gap. See those 2 candles right there?
Oh yeah.
And closing through that 50-day brought about that gap.
Right.
So, yeah, ipso facto, I'm your boss. Like, it's starting to leave a lot of selling behind. And, I mean, we've clearly broken out of what has been like this this big downtrend. Couldn't get through 470. I know Jimbo and I talked about that at length. I hope he's feeling better after the Bears game. Sorry, Jim.
Sorry about it. But a big telling point on this, I think you need to settle above $5, right? I mean, we've tested $5 and could not settle above there since beginning of August, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And it's like it's $5. You know, it's like $20 milk kind of thing,
right?
You know, you settle at $19.99 versus $20.01. It's only 2 tick difference, but that's a big difference, like mentally, right? So
psychological. It's a big psychological number.
Like you're a stoic and a psychologist all at the same time. I mean, it's just crushing it. So yeah, I mean, what would be even like $5, and then I think a close over what is this 507? These highs, you took a couple shots here and couldn't do it. So I think that like if you certainly get a close over 507, it's launch button to this launch button activated.
Up until the gap or above the gap, you think?
Up until the gap, you got to go fill it, and then we'll see where we go.
All right. It's very fair.
Speaking of Phil, this one, I know Wisco Phil has been talking about in my
shout out.
This one right here.
There we go.
S&P, some people call it the SPOO, not doing so hot. But if we look at the weekly, so when last time we talked about this, I did not touch any of this jazz right here. So it is kind of do or die time for this, for this whole Elliott wave, right?
Yeah.
Because you have broken out of what was, a clear downtrend that began in the beginning of 2022, right here. And you made a couple higher lows and then started to break out. Did it in a way too that trended really well, right? It wasn't like unsustainable price action. So now that we've retraced some of that move, the question is, do we keep on rocking here? Tough one is that some of the secondary indicators are telling you no. They're saying that we're going to break. And when I say that, I mean like the momentum here has crossed 0, right? From here to here, these 2 candles.
Yeah.
That suggests weakness. And you've also got, you're kind of in like the middle of the road here for the RSI. So there's room for this to continue breaking. So like I said, it's mixed signals here, but it's do or die time for like whether or not this Elliott wave is going to play out. If you get a settle So this is what? 432 and a half ish. So I think if you close over this, like what was this weekending? So this is this week's candle, the 5th. This is last week's candle. I think if you get a close over that high, 43.83, then I think this continues on. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff kind of like floating around. We got a stay of execution with the whole like Speaker of the House and the shutdown. We're not shutting down. We're shutting down the studio kind of thing. Like,
right.
Side note, I think you should be Speaker of the House. Let's just throw it out there.
I mean, I think I could probably do a pretty good job at this point, right?
I think you could do a good job. Just like show up with the hammer and just like, look, this is what we're doing. You know what? I think you could probably loosen up the dress code too. There, yeah. It's all like suits and it's just very like buttoned up. The whole thing. Like you could just show up and like, let me guess, black polo.
Let's get this country rocking. Like let's get this country back on track here.
Like that's a nice little campaign slogan. Let's get this country rocking. 2024, Cody Koster, Speaker of the House, or sooner. Let's get this country rocking, according to Cody. So yeah, it's go back to do or die time. If let's say if you retraced at least like let's call it like 50% of this move, you're in jeopardy of retracing all of it at that point, right? That's usually what you see in like a second wave, right? 35 to 50%, anything more than that, then it's curtains for this thing. The daily doesn't look great, but again, you really haven't. This move started back here, so I don't think you can get super short until you retrace back into this 4,200, because then now you're really starting to jeopardize. You'd break below this 50-day or 50-week, I should say, and then the 200-week, this 200 period moving average becomes a little bit of a target, which could get a little dicey for the wealth effect.
Let's wait a few weeks before we check our retirement accounts, folks.
Let's just wait a couple, 2-3 weeks, as they say. That said, speaking of wealth and the wealth effect and people's ability to spend money.
Hey, crude oil. We talked about this last week.
So, as the new Speaker of the House, like, what's like the first order of business for you?
Well, probably make crude great again, because last week we talked about this, which we had not broken that long-term trend line that you have drawn there. Mm-hmm. And this week it obviously has broken pretty darn hard. Good news is might be able to fill your gas tanks up a little bit cheaper, right?
I was going to ask, how much does it cost to fill up a truck?
I mean, honestly, at the gas pump, I don't think prices have moved that bad. Even though crude is kind of taking a little bit of a dump ski here, I don't think it costs any less to fill up a vehicle.
I don't know either. I certainly feel like it hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot by me. But to your point, this thing has really it was trying and then just, I don't think so. I don't think so, Richard.
Probably $78 a barrel looks like the next testing point here.
Going back to your 50-day and corn, today we settled below the 50-day for the first time in how long? Been a while. What is that? Been a hot minute here.
July there?
So, I mean, you got, given like the break of this long-term trend, you settled below a pretty significant moving average here. Bears tend to jump out the window, right? Bulls climb up the stairs.
Yep. You
got to think that this little noise right here, this little nugget is going to start to get tested, 77 and some change. Yeah, I mean, shoot, you could be there tomorrow, right? This was down $1.50. This one was down $4.89. So it's not that far away, but I think this is like kind of like the next stop, the next test, and it would probably coincide too with, if you go back down to here, it's starting to get into oversold, right? So it still hasn't approached, or it's approaching oversold territory, but it hasn't crossed into it. So you can't like argue, like, at least from like a secondary type indicator, like that it's oversold here. According to this, it's not, and it's got clear momentum working in its favor. I guess the other part of it too is these tend to trade technically as well. So there's some room both on the RSI as well as this momentum piece for continued weakness. And that seems to coincide with getting down into this little guy right here. So Seems like that's the next step.
Okay.
And then if you broke the 200-day, like, yikes.
Well, I mean, I guess tomorrow's Friday, so we might get a good look at that tomorrow, is what you're kind of thinking.
You're just like negative Nancy on Friday. Like, I thought as Speaker of the House, you were just going to be a lot more positive on Fridays. Like,
I was just asking. It's close to the weekend. I was just wondering.
Your campaign slogan is "Let's get this country rocking," and
on Monday, not on Friday.
On Monday, on Monday, not on Friday. Your first order of business is to pass out like puppies and fireworks to everybody, and then get everybody a Frito pie while they're at it too.
There you go. I like it.
I love Frito pies, by the way, are phenomenal. If I'll call him RR, he's out there. He's a big Frito pie fan himself, if he's a listener. All right, last one.
Class 4.
Class 4. Uh-oh. little bit of a sign of weakness here after
We
this
had
big
$21
run.
today, by the way. Class 4, November.
$21. That was today's high. The number, $21. Not 2101, not 2099, 21 on the dot. What do you want to do here?
Well, just looking down at the RSI, might be overdone slightly to the top side here.
It could be a smidgy overdone. The tough part about it is I know it starts pricing here soon, but I've got current cash at $22.68. Granted, butter is in orbit right now.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's when does that one come down? Because Nonfet really hasn't done much in terms of like overall price, like on its spot. So I don't know. I mean, it's tough to tell because you've got this. I mean, to put it in perspective, current cash is right like here. Right. So if we don't move, if cash doesn't move, future's got to come up here or some, close to it. So this could be, to your point, the RSI is getting a little bit, you got above, so into overbought territory, came back down. That's a sell signal, and it's kind of inching its way back into that area. If you don't clear this and come back down, then that's a pretty clear sign of weakness.
And as you had mentioned earlier, I mean, butter is rocking and rolling, but non-fat is just kind of a stagnant sideways.
Yeah, it's just kind of stuck in the mud, right?
Right. And we need both of those for the class 4 pricing mechanism. So if non-fat doesn't get a little bit of a higher bump here, I just don't know how much farther Nov Class 4 can really go, right?
Where's butter going to go?
Exactly. And that's the big question.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's the question that seems to be on everybody's mind, right? I mean, every day we're in a new record highs, all-time record highs. So, But yeah, I mean, if you just look at the chart, it's getting itself into overbought territory again, but it's not getting to a point where it's like making a lower high, right, on that portion of it. So you got to be a little bit careful. So to me, this looks like a nice opportunity at the very least. Let's say you're a dairy producer and you want to get some sort of coverage there, buying puts. I think it's probably the way to go right now. If you want to sell futures and you say, I like $21, probably worth your time to have a call or call spread put on top of that. You could probably do like a $21.5, $23 call spread or something like that to give yourself, the ability to participate. Should butter just sit there and not like if we sit there and do nothing, we're going to 22.70. So that may be something to do. But yeah, I mean, either buying puts or putting yourself in a position where you want to be short from $21, but you can have that call spread on top too. That could help.
Right. Open up your top side.
It feels like it could be a smidge volatile.
Just a smidge.
Just a smidge. Can I get like a campaign shirt?
Dude, as soon as I get them made, you're the first one that I'll ship it to.
Right.
Sounds weird.
Is that your first campaign promise right there? Like, send me a shirt.
The first and the best. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for Andy and I. We appreciate you tuning in, looking through our charts. If anyone wants to see anything new for next week, please shoot us an email, give us a phone call. But until then, have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you at the end of next week.
Let's keep this country rocking, according to Cody.
You got to.
Finger pistols.